Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. There's no really point for me filming today, but I really wanted to create a green makeup look. I've looked at a few green makeup inspirations from Pinterest and I kind of have an idea on what I wanted to do, but we're just gonna have to wing it. So I hope you guys are doing okay at the moment and you're keeping busy and whatnot. So I tried to look for a green eyeshadow that I own and I found this MAC eyeshadow palette, and this is from their art library collection, and this is in its designer. And I purchased this eyeshadow palette because of the colorful shades right there. I fully thought that during summertime I'm going to be able to utilize this palette, but because we had to do a move and etc., it did not happen. So today we're going to make it happen. I really wanted to create a look with this neon green eyeshadow makeup. It's not gonna be revolutionary, it's not gonna be cut crease. If y'all know my style, I don't do cut creases that often anymore. I used to do it back in the day, but I've gotten into a habit of just creating more wearable looks even if I wear color. Please do subscribe to my channel if you want to see how I am going to nail this look. Don't you just hate it when you just turned on the camera and then it's low battery? It's pretty unnecessary. But anyway, I am going to prime my lids with this e.l.f. camouflage concealer. I have the shade medium sand. I used to have medium beige, but I threw it away because this concealer oxidizes like no one's business. So I am going to apply that on my lids as a primer, and also my brows aren't filled in. I actually tinted them today. I used the beard dye and I also broke it down on my Instagram stories. It's probably gonna be gone by the time I upload this video, but I will eventually do a dedicated video on how I maintain my brows, and especially now that salons are closed, there's no really way for you to maintain your brows instead of just doing it at home. And I quite enjoy doing everything at home anyway. I'm going to try and set my lids with this shade right here from the Naked Honey eyeshadow palette, and that one is called Flyby. It has a little bit of sheen to it, but I'm just gonna use that and hopefully create a bright base for the green to pop. I could use a wet concealer and go straight into the green, but I kind of want this eyeshadow makeup to last because right after this I'm cooking dinner. For transition, I'm actually going to use the same palette, so I'm going to use more of that mustardy color. So maybe we will try and use Swarm, which is this one right here. It's a lot lighter than this shade called Keeper, so it won't really intervene with the green. I just want something to act as a transition but not necessarily take away the green moment, because I'm thinking of adding a shimmer as well. I'm so tempted to purchase the Bretman Rock Wet n Wild collaboration, but then like I think about it and I don't really wear a lot of colorful eyeshadows, so is it even worth buying? Because I did purchase his collaboration with Colourpop and I absolutely love the shades, though I depotted mine and put them together in a huge magnetic palette just so I find everything there. And I think I'm gonna do the same with the Kathleen Lights eyeshadow palette, because both of our palettes, which is the Zodiac and the Dreamlight, is discontinued now, so if I want to use that I might as well just put it in a magnetic eyeshadow palette, so that way it can just be like a Colourpop eyeshadow selection. So I think that's pretty much it, and then I really want to pack the green color, so instead of using that blender brush I'm going to use a more denser brush. This is my favorite, it's the Real Techniques brush, and I am now going to move on to the Art Library eyeshadow palette and pick up this green right here, and I'm going to apply that all over the lid. Oh wow, that is so pigmented. I feel like it didn't really show up that great on my skin. Maybe I'll try and use a more denser brush because I really want to pack the color. I want it to be like a lime green moment. Seems to be working fine, but I kind of want it to be a little bit more opaque. See how it oxidizes immediately on my lids? I think it has something to do with my lids being quite dark and discolored. So what I'm going to do is to use this brush right here. I'm just gonna quickly dust off the green, and then I'm going to go back to Swarm, which is the transition shade that we use, and kind of apply that on the crease, and then a little bit on the outer V. And then I'm going to go back to the green once again to pack everything on. I'm going to leave my eyes like that. I'm not going to put any liner or any other stuff except for mascara. So we're going to move on to the face. I've already primed my face with moisturizer, and for foundation today I'm going to use the Maybelline Matte in Poreless foundation. I have not used this in forever. I absolutely love the finish that it gives. The only downside that I have with this foundation is that the longevity is not as good compared to the Superstay Full Coverage foundation. It gives the most natural finish, and also it gives you like a very poreless look. You do have to layer the foundation quite a bit, especially if you're applying it with a sponge, because it tends to soak up the product. But this foundation is great for oily skin because it has a technology where it dries from like a liquid to a powder finish. So now that's done, I am going to go back to the e.l.f. Camouflage Concealer. I typically am not a fan of this concealer underneath the eyes because it's quite heavy, but I feel like if you're going to apply just a teeny tiny bit, it could work. I am going to go with another concealer, the one that I absolutely love. This looks terrible. Like, it doesn't look blended, so I'm going to go over that with the Australis Fresh and Flawless Concealer, because this concealer is full coverage, but it has a little bit of a thinner consistency that it's easier to blend. And that's looking so much better. So I'm going to apply a little bit of powder on my under eye because my under eye just creases, doesn't matter what type of concealer I use, before we do a cream contour. So I'm just gonna use the ColourPop No Filter Loose Setting Powder. Just a teeny tiny bit, just to keep everything else in line for now. And for contour, I am going to use the Fenty Beauty Match Sticks, and this one is in the shade Truffle. And to set my face, I'm gonna go back to the ColourPop Loose Setting Powder. I actually took the sifter off because I feel like that works a lot better rather than me trying to tap all the powder back to the surface. And it's just easier to dunk your sponge. So I like to press the powder on my whole entire face because it mattifies everything, as well as it pushes the product in as opposed to me blending it out. And then the rest will just go here, and then once this one is pushed in, kind of just blend it in with a blender. And before I finish off my face, we're going to go back with the eyes. So I really want this to be like a full-on green look, so we're going to go back to that green shade and pop that on the lower lash line. And we're going to fill in the gap here, just so everything is connected. And I'm not going to do too much on the lower lash line, like I don't want to make it too bright because we don't want it to look sickly. And for the inner corner highlight, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So that's where we put the shimmer. I am going to use this shade right here. It's gold, but it has a little bit of green hue to it. And I'm going to pop that on the inner corner. And the formula is a little bit interesting because it's more of a pressed glitter. And we're really gonna pack it in there. I am just gonna bronze before we finish it all up with mascara. I know it looks a little bit weird, but for bronzer today I'm going to use the Maybelline City Bronzer. My packaging broke, but that doesn't mean that the product is not good. I actually do enjoy the bronzer. It has more of a neutral undertone, and I have the shade medium cool. And since we already have that contour underneath, we don't need to apply too much of this. I promise once we put mascara and everything else, the look will come together. I want it to be a little bit peachy, so I'm going to bust out this MAC powder blush in Melba. Do you guys remember when everyone used to rave about this blush? Honestly, it's such a good neutral tone blush, and it goes with every skin tone. I got a little bit too excited in applying the bronzer, so we're just gonna fix that with a little bit of the blender. I'm going to use the MAC Extra Dimensional Skin Finish in the shade Oh Darling, another cult favorite once again. I'm not actually sure what happened to MAC these days. Like, they used to be one of the only brands, or one of the top brands rather, that everyone would die for. They used to come out with a lot of new interesting makeup collection, collaboration. Now they've gone real quiet, and I feel like it has something to do with the new company that bought them, but I feel like they're not as innovative as they once were before. But I still love their base products, not as much as before, because I've found products that are better in quality and also a lot cheaper, and as well as cruelty free. But that doesn't mean that I won't use MAC products anymore. I would not necessarily buy new products from them, but I'm okay with using whatever I have, and once that's done, then I'll probably not buy from them anymore. Does that make sense? I hope so. But anyway, we are going to finish the eyes. So I'm not going to tight line. I really want this look to be like fresh and summery, even though it's autumn here in New Zealand, or fall, wherever you are. And then I'll just apply a lot of mascara. See how it just lifted everything and it looks a lot more fresh? I could add a little bit of liner, but I personally don't like applying eyeliner anymore, and I actually quite like the sort of dog eye look that the lashes give. And it just showcases the lashes and the lids without having anything that distracts your eye from it. So for lips today, we are going to go super nude because we already have a colorful cheek and eye. So for lips, I am going to fill in my lips with this MAC lip pencil in Oak. Then on top of that, I am going to apply this Australis Demi Matte Lip Cream in the shade Empower. And here is my final makeup look. I actually quite like how the look turned out because it screams summer, very fun, but not being obnoxious at the same time. I feel like that's more of my aesthetic these days. I don't really like to do cut creases anymore like I used to, but this is still a fun way to insert color back into your makeup. It does not require a lot of skills. You basically just have to pack on one color and hope for the best, or just do a lot of blending and it will turn out great. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.